Welcome to Knowing You, Being You, a series of conversations with change makers who know that all change, no matter how big or small, begins with you. And today I am thrilled to be joined by Brenda Bacon, who is many, many wonderful things. But one of the things that is most amazing about her in terms of the work that she brings out to many of us is her work with colour. She has a remarkable gift with colour, which affects us all in our day-to-day lives, whether we acknowledge it or not. So I'm absolutely thrilled that you are here, Brenda. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. It would be lovely if you could tell us how you sort of got to what you're doing now, because what you're doing now is a very interesting journey from what you do the rest of the time.
Yeah. So I studied interior design and went on to work in a number of cities doing that. And in the course of my work, I had a deep connection to how color affects so many things, color and texture. And although that might sound like, well, yeah, that's what you'd expect, it's much deeper than that. And I realized too at some point that I really could connect color to the individuals or the groups that I was working with. It was, maybe something that sat back there, but I was aware of it, and I was aware that I was doing something with that. And as a result of it, all of the spaces that I was designing did really have a transformational effect on the people that I was working with. So, and in that time, I didn't think this was unusual or odd. It was just something that I was doing. But I was getting a lot of recognition for aspects of the work that really people weren't putting color to it. But I knew it was coming from that because I understood the association of that to the people that were living or working in those environments. So, aside from that, I'm also an awesome space planner, and I create clarity out of chaos so many times. I've done some wonderful, fun, crazy-ass projects. So there are other aspects to it, but the color is the thing that brings it all to clarity. So I through a series of events, I had some time in the last couple of years to really sit with what it was about color that I was seeing and using, and what was the purpose of that. I mean, it couldn't just be for creating environments for people, although that's really important, and there's more to that, and more that I can teach people about that. And so in that, I started playing a game with it, like what's happening with this, and through Facebook, just did a challenge for myself on a day where it was a Giving Wednesday, and I thought, I'm going to play a color game and see what happens. And through that, I realized that it was the color that was connecting to guidance. And I was just a bridge, and the color was the bridge as well. So I just went on to develop that. And through that, I realized that I've been developing clarity for myself as well. So that the work that I'm doing, I can explain better as to why it is that we would create this space or this environment for you in this way. And then to also help people understand how there are tools that they can use and implement that will help them as well. And color is a big part of that. And so it's a friendly aspect of Feng Shui is what I keep saying. It's a way of taking those incredible energetic impulses, but taking the scariness out of it and finding things that work for you so that you're doing the work. Like you're actually doing the work, not the crystal or the, whatever. It's you're co-creating with that element what it is that you desire.
So I know because, I think probably it is worth saying that, we've been talking for about, it must be coming up to 18 months now that we've been sort of backwards and forth. But it was, really in the last year that sort of accelerated. And I think it's worth people understanding just the power of that bridge of the color, because so at the end of last year, I'm sitting there thinking, what do I want to do with this year? And how do I want to bring that forward? And I had a number of words for myself, and Brenda helped me come up with some colors associated with those words. And from those colors, I had, like as you mentioned, crystals and color, and essential oils and all sorts of things that were actually really effectively totems for that color. Mm-hmm. And I think it's fair to say, that those colors have probably been the single most powerful tool in my toolbox this year as a catalyst for co-creation. And as we're coming up now, as we're recording this, we're coming up to the halfway point of the year. And I have to sit down and actually sort of like really reflect back on this year. But when I do so, I will just go, holy cow. Because it has really kickstarted. And it's, as you said it yourself, it seems like so obvious, but it's not at all. It's just that it is something that you can just create that spark that just changes so much.
Well, and I mean, when you think about even walking in nature, we're all surrounded by color. It's everywhere. The sky is blue, the trees are green, on and on you can go. And we're just so used to it that we're not, and maybe don't even know to be aware of how the vibration of that color, never mind the trees and all of the energies that go with that, but the color itself has a vibrational quality to it that you can utilize and transform aspects of your life. So in the color game, or any prompt that I give with a color, I am asking you to focus on and come into alignment with that color. You can do that at a moment, any moment that you're feeling out of sorts, not aligned. There's something that's going to bring you into alignment. Any number of colors. Where you want to go with it is the color you choose. So, we're developing a format of selection, if you will, for I want to feel like this. Well, if you want to feel like that, part of how you can do it is to come into alignment with an aspect of your environment or a paint chip, if you will, that helps you in that journey. And it's meant to be a prompt. So you're being prompted to pause for a moment, settle, clear your mind, and then move forward with whatever clarity you come to in that moment.
Absolutely. And it's in that respect, it's quite similar to sound, in that sound has a vibration that you can hear that, and if it's loud enough, or you can actually feel that vibration. So the color is really about refining your ability to sense those vibrations and respond to them. Yeah. I do think that you should explain how you come up with the colors. because that's not, I mean, of all the colours out there, I was reading something about shrimps, mantis shrimps, that they can see like 10 times the number of colours that we can see because of the way their eyes are constructed. But
Yeah.
actually, although our register of ability to see colours is huge, our mental ability to put that into words is very limited.
Yeah.
So, but so you have a wonderful tool, don't you?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, everything's color to me. Even the words that you're saying, I associate color with. When I read a book, it's all so colorful. um, I didn't realize this actually until you start talking about it, and people talk about the various aspects of how they function in their life and how sound effects and whatever. And I realize everything's in color for me. So when what happens for me is, okay, so I'm in front of a person, let's say, in real life, like 3D, there's just color everywhere. Nobody's just a color. Like you may have a sense, like when they all moosh together, a sense of a color, but for the most part, it's all higgledy-piggledy, and some parts are a different color than other parts. So I see all of that. But more than anything, I see something that wants to come through. So to describe that, but I think it's a balanced color that I see. So you're something, and then what I'm picking is a color maybe that balances that, or that enhances somewhere where you need to go. And I just see it. And so I'll pull out my paint deck and I try to find the color that best represents what I've seen. And it's hysterical, really, how the name of the color often is shockingly so appropriate. And then the association of the paint color number to the angel messages. I mean, what a happy surprise that was. My goodness. Like the guys just want to help us in every which way they can manage. so yeah, so then well, and okay, and so I said 3D, and that's really obvious, and I don't know how, I really, it's difficult for me to describe what happens when I'm doing it, where I'm just typing. People are just typing, I haven't seen you, it's just words, they're just opting in by saying, yes, I want to play, and yet still, I have a sense very much of what needs to come through there. And I feel that that's just pure guidance, I'm just being guided there. And then that color and your opt-in or our interaction creates a story and a message. And often I'm just writing out a sentence or two, but oh my God, I could write a book for you. You and I could write a book together in that moment of what the fullness of what that message is. But then I'd be doing the work for you, so that would be counterproductive. It's our guide want us to do the work ourselves, and you're just getting a prompt, really.
It's so funny because you said at the beginning, when you were sort of talking about your work in interior design, that you knew you were doing something that, and you thought everyone could do it, or you didn't realize what you've just described. It's so obvious that no one else can do that.
So weird. Yeah.
And then that's so important, to being able to embrace our own gifts and understand that. And of course, we don't see them, do we? We just, because they are so intrinsically part of who we are.
Yes. Yeah.
We just, until somebody has that conversation with you and you suddenly go, oh, what, you mean you can't? Oh. You suddenly go, oh. Right.
Yeah, no, I really, I would never have seen this as being something unique to me. I just would see it as, well, don't all designers or people associating color to their work see this? That would be how I would do it. But I mean, the ability to write. I think I'm a good writer. I've been told that all my life, but I've never really taken time to do it or given it an outlet. So this is helping me too. And I feel like that's part of the guidance for me, is to develop those skills in distilling, because I talking all the time, distilling all of that so that what's coming through is for you in the clearest way possible. So I like that I've had this outlet for the writing, because there's a book and I need to do it, and it needs to be clear because clearly that's what I'm supposed to be doing, is I'm part of the co-creation process. And it has to be about clarity. If you're not clear about what it is that you're working towards, you're never going to get there. You're going to go here, there, and everywhere, but not there. So clarity is a big, big deal.
And the colour is such an important anchor for that clarity, isn't it? Because it just, you can bring yourself back to that colour.
Totally,
you think,
focus in on that.
Yeah. And you just keep coming back to it. And I do have mine all, I have them in front of me in the form of like the crystals that I have for them, or I have them in front of me and I think about them, and they're in front of my diary for the year, so I know. And the messages that came through, they're all there at the front of it. And I do keep coming back to it, just going, yeah, it's still relevant. It's still really important. And I think that's what I love about it, is because you can ask for a colour for the year, or you can ask a colour for the day, and it will be relevant. And I love the spontaneity of the colours that come forward as well. Yeah. They're quite something, aren't they?
I really enjoyed the process of people coming up with their word for the year, and then coming up with a color for the year. And I do want to know how that pans out for people, because in my mind, that's not really how it works, that a color would be so right for an entire year, like for that length of time, because people evolve so quickly. Like, we're changing and we're transforming so quickly. Even if it seems like nothing's happening, lots is happening. Mm-hmm. And the color changes with that.
It does.
Focus and your need for growth is reflected in what comes up. I can see how you could anchor into a color in order for like enormous leaps. And I understand that that's what you're doing, and that's really great for you. And there's a maybe only 3 or 4 people in the group where I see that that's true for, but for most people, you
got baby steps.
Yeah.
I think it's well, I mean, that speaks to its power of flexibility and how that you can use it. But and it is about guiding you, as you've said that yourself. It's about guiding you on those steps. It's a form of, I mean, sometimes the color that comes through is absolutely hideous. You can't stand the color.
I love that. I love that there are people that are going, oh, I don't like that color. Well, you might want to think about that for a minute. just go there for a minute, and you will be transformed in that moment. And then maybe it'll never show up for you again.
Yes. And that's what you were saying about the balanced color. Sometimes it is about just saying, well, you this is where you want to go, but in order to, there's a great Jane Fonda quote, which is from a TEDx talk that she did. It so, in order to know where you're going, you've got to know where you've come from. Yeah. And sometimes the color is about saying, just look behind you a little bit, so that you know which way to go. Yeah, because you can't be sure of which path to take unless you've looked back. So sometimes that's what the color's doing. Yeah.
So I mean, you've got a color here. I see you here. And you've got this other balancing color that comes out. You like it or you don't. But the point is to come here, right? And so all of what's said in this color, all of those prompts, is to bring you here. So away from there and back to this place of balance. That's the work.
Yeah, it's so funny that that concept of the fulcrum point of the balance just keeps on coming up at the moment. And yeah, and it's right there. It's about saying if you go too far, it's like I describe it as a seesaw. But you know, if you go too, well, you're doing this, and it's in order to progress, you've got to be on the point of balance. That's whether that's light and dark, whether that's however you want to
like,
put those two sides of it.
Absolutely. And I feel like you have to kind of do those enormous off kilter things from time to time. I think those are really great growth moments. But always you're seeking for balance. Like that's the comfort place. That's the easy peasy place, and that's where flow comes from. You don't flow from the outer points. You're going to flow from your balance. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't suppose you could have ever envisaged starting out as an interior designer and bringing this forward.
Well, not to hear. No, I no.
But it's such a powerful tool that is missing from the overall, has been missing from the overall balance, because one of the core themes that's come up constantly, and I know you and I have talked about this, is that we can't get so out of ourselves, out of our bodies, because we've got to be in our bodies to actually make things happen. So that we've got to embody that. And color is one of those things, sound is one of those things, food is one of those things. These are all part of the process of bringing the totality of who we are into its fullest expression. And for some people, the color is going to be absolutely pivotal. For some people, it'll be something else. But it is part of the journey of understanding that, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. All of those things combined. I think we all need to bring all of that together. And you anchor there. I can't see how to go out there further without being anchored here. It just doesn't work. I can't find the place where that works. So being anchored and grounded is the way to reach the cosmos, to go to places that no man's gone before.
We absolutely being in the body, and the body is one of the things that the body sees is color.
And we have so many gifts to keep us grounded. So
we do. So if somebody would like to come along and play the color game, or just tap into your amazing intuition on color, where's best for them to come and find you?
Well, they can come to my Facebook group, Designing Magic, where there's a question prompt that they need to answer to get in. I have a website, designingmagic.ca.
I'll put the link below.
And I do Color Quickie on Instagram, which is fun. That would be the way.
Excellent. Well, I would definitely recommend that you do go and find Brenda, because as you said at the very beginning, it sounds like, well, duh, sort of so obvious, but I can honestly say that just perceiving color in a different way has changed so much for me, and my understanding and appreciation of many different things through the color. So it'd be interesting to see for everybody else what it can achieve for you, but it is part of the overall matrix of things that we need to bring together to take ourselves as far forward as we can possibly go. So definitely go and see it. Thank you so much, Brenda. It's been absolutely wonderful to talk to you.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks so much.
It's a pleasure.